In my opinion, 90% of execution is about focus, right? Every hour we spend on something that isn't part of our core strategy focus is an hour we've wasted against the things that we could be focusing on.
Welcome to Micro Podcast. I've got Eric Nelson here with me. We're continuing a conversation on sales and go-to-market motion, specifically about an alignment between sales and strategy. What does it look like when there's this disconnect between these two things? What are some of the symptoms that you start to see in an organization?
The misalignment essentially means that your front line is disconnected from the organization's objectives. What ends up happening is that an organization's efforts, they start to scatter. So you start seeing things like, reps are wasting their time chasing the wrong targets. Customer churn tends to increase because you're landing deals outside of your ICP. So you're in a sense kind of force-fitting deals in. You end up also with longer sales cycles in many instances, again, trying to force-fit your product or your solution into the wrong type of audience. And then probably one of the most costly pieces is that you can really start to get disengagement from your employees and have them leave. Every hour we spend on that is an hour that we're not spending in the place that we should. And that's incredibly costly. And I think organizations underestimate the costliness of that motion in itself, possibly more than almost anything else I encounter. And so usually it's one of the first areas to diagnose, because what it tells me is that we don't have clarity of vision and focus. Something is diluting that vision and focus. And so then we go through that process of, okay, how do we reconnect those dots together?
So after you go through that process, once you create that alignment between sales and strategy, what tends to happen? What kind of results do you tend to see?
You start to see everybody focusing in on the key areas they're supposed to focus in on. Focus tends to really solve problems for businesses. And so oftentimes the work I do with a company is to help them re-hone in that focus and just get lasered in exactly where they should be putting all those efforts.